Hello, everyone. It's Lindsay Landry, energy alchemist, heart shaman for healers and soul led women who are ready to create deeper intimacy, deeper prosperity, and more flow in their business, relationship, and lives. Super excited to be here today. I just recorded the Manifest More Abundance video for this week. We're diving into exploring money and abundant blocks. So, I thought it would be fun to do a specific card reading geared towards this. So, like always, drop me a comment if you enjoy this and if you want more of these pick a card readings. And also, I'm going to timestamp it. So once you pick your card, 1, 2, or 3, you can go ahead and look at the comments and go to that timestamp. The last thing that I want to share before we dive in, I have 3 spots to work with me one-on-one open right now. And I am offering a pretty amazing bonus. So I'm offering a half day intensive to anyone who says yes this week. So if you want to move closer and explore what it would be like to work together, I'm dropping the link below to claim a free prosperity activation call. And I would absolutely love to drop in with you, hear about where you are in your business, in your life, what your goals and desires are, where you are feeling stuck, burnout, stagnant, and we can really dive into um, what I'm seeing for you as far as energetically and what's needed for you to move into this next phase that's calling you and into the pleasure, prosperity, deep intimacy, and flow that you are wanting to cultivate and call in. Okay. So the link is below if you want to claim one of those sessions with me. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right. So card number 1 is the mouse. So, prosperity block number 1, the mouse. The mouse is all about attention to details, and people with this energy. So, it could be 2 things happening for you. Either you are too honed in on the specifics and the details, and you are needing to zoom out a bit. And this happens for me. I get like hyper vigilant and hyper focused sometimes. And I know for myself when I'm in that mode, it can start to take on a life of its own a little bit, like where it almost becomes perfectionism. And when that happens, that starts to block the creative flow and the creative energy. So if that's happening for you, zoom out. Allow yourself to tap back into the bigger picture of what you're doing, what you're creating, also the energy of the bigger picture. And like, okay, once whatever it is once you know it's already happening, it's already coming to you, right? What does that feel like? What do you notice? So when you allow yourself to zoom out and you allow yourself to move into the energy of like, okay, it's already happening. It already is. Then what? Okay. So that's the first way that this card could be speaking. The second way is your vision might feel so big and so overwhelming. There's nowhere for it to land, right? And so if that is the case for you, I just want you to pick something. So um it can be even something completely different from your vision, right? So it could even just be like what's coming to me is like focusing on nourishing your body with food, or it might be committing to exercise for the month. And maybe you're going to commit to 3 or 4 times a week, whether it's yoga or exercise, just by letting yourself commit to something and using that as a portal to work these other energetic pieces. It starts to get your energy in gear, right? Just showing up, having a schedule, having a routine. I was actually thinking about this for myself today. One of the most challenging parts of restarting my business, relaunching it, and like kind of rebirthing it, rebranding it, one of the most challenging parts was one, starting, and then two, it was like getting the engine going again. And so I invested in different coaching programs, and I'm not going to say that those programs didn't get me results, because I was actually reflecting on this today. And what I feel like those programs helped me with the most was getting back into a routine, getting back into the discipline of sitting down and showing up for my work, right? So I might not have gotten the laser clarity that I needed or wanted from the program, but what I did get was I got back into motion. I got back into the motion of asking myself, what do I need to do to show up for this? And I had to start cleaning things up, right? So that I could show up for my business. I started working out some of the kinks. For me, one of the biggest things was space, also time management. I have a lot of free time, and at the same time, um, I I felt like my energy was being pulled all over the place. And so at the time I was working part-time at the coffee shop. I have the dog, so I would get home, he was occupying my energy. Um the living arrangement, I didn't have my own kitchen. And so I was sharing laundry, sharing kitchen. And so it was consuming a lot of energy. And then Ken's schedule, um, he would come home Thursday through Sunday. And so, like, I would start to get into a routine and a flow, and then I kind of felt out of flow. And so, and out of focus. And so, just giving myself a place to start showing up and get that engine going and start to work out some of these things, right? That was super beneficial because I needed that foundational piece for me to be able to start going to the next level, for me to build self trust, for me to start to find that clarity, right? And so if your vision is really big, I want you to pick something to focus on. Maybe it's a freebie. That's another thing that I've done is focus on hosting a challenge, focus on giving in some capacity where it's just doing this little thing, even though this little thing is not your soul's work, your soul's calling, but it's something to commit to get the engine going, to work out some of the other energetic kinks, right? Or to show you these places where other stuff might be stuck stagnant so that you can move, get the energy moving, get the energy flowing. Okay. So if you picked card number one, that's what I've gotten for you. And it could be a combination of both, right? You may move in and out of the small details in the big picture as well. Um, so allow yourself to play with that, and just notice. I'm going to take a sip of water because my throat is. Okay. Card number 2, we have the Panther. All right. So the panther hops into our life to kind of shake things up and get things moving and flowing. And when this card comes forward, it can feel sometimes a bit like stuff is happening in our life that we don't maybe have control over. It might feel a little disruptive, or maybe you're feeling that within yourself. Like you just want to get some energy, like moving and shaking. And, um, it might not be super put together. It might not be super polished. It might feel kind of rough around the edges or raw, primal, right? There is a gift in that. There is a gift in that. So if you are noticing that, what I want to also know, like invite you to notice, is if you have any layers of guilt or shame around this primal, like impulse or this primal energy that is showing up in your life. So for me, sometimes this energy might also look like some disruption in my relationship. So it might not always show up directly in my life, but maybe my partner, right? Or my animals. Some days they like are just all over the place, right? And it feels very disruptive. And we can make up stories about this. And we can also hold guilt. We can hold shame, right? What I feel like is coming forward is trusting the energy that's wanting to clear. So rather than focusing on exactly what the expression looks like, allowing the energy to move and flow and be expressed so that it can clear and the deeper alignment can show itself. So sometimes we have to let energy start flowing, even in the rawest forms. Like our expression might not be like the smoothest, most polished. It might be kind of messy, might be not polite, it might be not very spiritual per se, right? But sometimes it needs to come out so that we can get to the deeper thing. So the panther can sometimes feel like a purge. It can feel like a shaking things up. It can feel very raw, primal. Um, and if you're noticing that, uh, yeah, what it feels like is energy is needing to move, for one. It's needing to clear. It's needing to move. It's needing to flow. Two, don't judge it. Don't attach. Don't try to make too much meaning out of what's happening. And three, look for the deeper desire or look for the deeper clarity and alignment. Okay. So that is your message, the Panther. All right. And card number 3. Oh, I like it. The Eagle. I absolutely love eagle medicine so much. So if you picked card number 3, so two things are coming forward. One is seeing the higher perspective. The dog is stretching. I'm waiting for him to disrupt my my computer by like moving the table. I love you, Red. I love you. Okay, so yeah, if you didn't listen to card number 2, it was the Panther, which was all about disruption. And I talked about my animals being disruptive. Uh, okay, so back to the eagle, seeing the higher perspective. That's one of the messages that is coming forward. Um, and then the other one is about karma. Oh my goodness. I know. Okay, let me finish. I love you. Get down. This is how he gives hugs and lots of love. You like the eagle too? I really want to just pause here and lean in to the message and the medicine that's coming forward. It feels like card number 2 is a bit for you too, the Panther. So you may want to go back and listen to card number 2. Yeah, so what I'm seeing for you is card number 2 is for you as well. And what they're adding is that it's really important to look at the bigger picture and the higher perspective. So sometimes the initial response is like a fear response, and that needs to clear before we can actually get to the opening. And so this might be happening for you, but it might also be happening for somebody that's close to you, whether it's your partner or potential clients. Sometimes somebody has a response to our work and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if that's for me," or, "Oh, you did this thing to me," right? And can you stay solid in yourself? Can you hold your integrity, your knowing of yourself? Also, the knowing of your and what you stand for. When you do that, there is an invitation of love. When you choose love for yourself in the greater service of love, it creates a field. I literally hand it to the goddess. I hand it to the mama, the mother earth, the mama Gaia, right? Or to God. And I ask, okay, here, I'm going to allow you to take care of this because I know you can do a much better job than me. This is the ego energy, standing for that higher state, the higher perspective, not like immediate instant gratification. It's more about the big picture and staying aligned, staying in integrity with that big picture. And karma is also a part of this. So sometimes we go through experiences where karma is involved, and it might be a relationship. And I have been in a relationship where it was karmic. We had soul contracts, and what I will say away from it, you have to allow yourself to go through it. And so sometimes we have karma when it comes to money, when it comes to abundance. And this is another place. So after Ken's accident, I I used a lot of my savings for us, and that sort of went against a lot of the things that I believed. It was big medicine for me. to use my savings. And I didn't think that was something that I would ever um, be on board with. But when I was in the situation and life was happening, and it's like it's not really logical, but there is medicine there. There's something that we need to learn or experience. So I feel like, whatever situation you're in, the abundance blocks that are forward for you, it feels a little bit complex. Um, and you're here for it. You are here for it. And so I don't want you to get discouraged. And, sometimes karma might be not going for the fast cash. It might be being willing to wait for the opportunity. I don't know. This is just kind of a general reading. So I don't know exactly what it is for you. Um, but what I want to invite you towards, take responsibility for your pieces. Be willing to look at what you're needing to do to stay in integrity with yourself. Also, look at where spirit is asking you to grow. And sometimes that means opening, right? So sometimes part of our growth is letting go and opening and being willing to do something different or uncomfortable. So that is what I've gotten for you. Yep. I wish I had like a little bit more sweetness to add. I can feel um it feels a little sobering. And sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we need to sober up, to let go of the rose colored glasses, to come to terms with reality, with what is, and look at life through a different lens. So, yeah, allow yourself to be willing. It's not a bad thing, it's not a punishment. It's actually a gift. Y- Called there, you're being initiated there. So, can you see it as a spiritual assignment? Take the higher road. I love you. And let me know below if this speaks to you, if it resonates, and if you want more.